No, I think the latest rate is like, I'm trying to think. There's a ratio. There's like 100 a year that are redeveloped or just torn down or just closed. And I think there's 10 that are built. That may be skewed a little bit over the last few years, but the last time I looked, it was 10 across the country that are built. So it's really not, it's shrinking.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, John Evans, is an Alabama-based investor who operates in the Southeast United States, investing in mobile home parks. You can find him across social media, on LinkedIn, or on his website, sixrockprop.com. John, thank you for taking the time today.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
When we talk about the mobile home park space, I want to dive in here because this is a segment that we're seeing increased interest from. I would say it's almost in vogue right now. You're seeing people migrate from other segments into mobile home. As someone who's been in the space, what is the cause of this, and what do you attribute to mobile home being so attractive?
Well, I mean, as far as the cause, I guess it's just being popularized through social media, possibly. I mean, because before that, there was no podcast, there was no education, there was no groups, there was no meetups, there was none of that, when I started 10 years ago, and now it's like there's mentorship programs, there's podcasts, there's YouTube, there's all kinds of stuff, So I think just that alone has really reached the masses to introduce it to just your normal people.
Now, when we talk specifically about mobile home park strategy, if we can dive into this here on a granular level, are most mobile home park deals being found like on some type of listing service like a Crexy, a LoopNet, or are these, folks where you have to have some type of relationship there, or it's a long-term follow-up and the seller and you're developing rapport, and then when they're ready to sell, you've already planted the seed in their mind however long ago?
Yeah, I mean, Crexy has deals listed. It's just really hard to find a deal, that actually works. Crexy, you could find properties on there that are not listed. You know, as far as trading the masses, that's a heavily relationship based business. Where people know how to close deals and people know how to find deals. And they work together. So if you're trying to get into the space, I wouldn't even suggest reaching out to brokers, right off the bat. But you can, find, we call them mom and pop. They're like the original owner of the property. They've owned it for 30 years. They're baby boomers, they're older, they're ready to retire. You can find them and build some trust and buy their property. That.
One of the interesting things that I've noticed, I believe this is pretty much true in every state. Correct me if I'm wrong here, John. Is they're not really making any new mobile home parks.
No, there's I mean, I think the latest rate is like, I'm trying to think. They have a there's a ratio. There's like 100 a year that are redeveloped or just torn down or just closed, and I think there's 10 that are built. That may be skewed a little bit over the last few years, but the last time I looked, it was 10 across the country that are built. So it's really not, it's shrinking.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
When we talk specifically about the reason for that, right? Like when I think about the number of investors that are interested in mobile homes, I would immediately think, well, they got to be making new ones, but it's counterintuitive. I've heard that, they're not great source of tax revenue for the localities that they're placed in. And I've also heard that there's a little bit of a still, lingering negative stigma to the idea of a mobile home park being put in some areas, so that you have, municipalities that are basically opposed to creating new mobile home parks.
Yeah, I mean, basically, a mobile home park costs the city money, because basically just because of, I mean, one, taxes, and two, school, all those kids going to school, there's not enough tax revenue to support them. So the city has to basically pay for the educational aspect. But yeah, nobody wants to live beside a mobile home park. I mean, it's like I said, the negative stigma. I think that's slowly changing, but I don't know if it'll ever go away. It's
One of the things that's interesting when we talk about that stigma is I do see it changing right now, and I'll tell you how. Because the on ramp to home ownership right now, pretty much anywhere in the country, is a daunting climb for most people, especially most young people. And people are looking at, well, what do I do? Do I rent indefinitely? Do I rent a home? Do I move out of state? What are my options, right? And so, part of that is you're seeing some people who are looking at mobile homes, so they don't fit maybe the demographic of what you thought. And also too, it does give you that kind of on ramp to home ownership. I don't know how often this happens, but as someone from the outside looking in, I could see the idea of, okay, I'm going to finance this mobile home. I'll live over here. It'll give me this semblance of stability. I don't have uh like rent increases every year without me owning the spot, in a sense, although they don't own the land.
yeah,
And I use this as a bridge to eventually, get into maybe something more traditional, like a single family home. On the flip side of that, you have the people saying, well, you don't own the underlying land underneath the home, so you're building up, some level of equity or something like this in the mobile home, but those tend to lose value, from what I understand. What's your perspective in general on the avatar of the person who moves into a mobile home park?
well, I mean, as far as touch on the equity part you was talking about, we have people that buy homes in our communities like cheap, maybe $5,000, and sometimes they sell those for 30, 40, $50,000. And they sell quickly. If you're in the right market, they sell quickly. So, I mean, I wouldn't say they, don't have equity. It's just, it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, you can technically be a homeowner because they own their home. We rent the land, but you have a yard, so yeah, I guess some people kind of come in, live here a few years, and then move on to a home. But I mean, this is still their home.
When people talk specifically about, and I don't want to say this is like uh, the whole industry, right? But when people talk about mobile homes, manufactured homes, right? The idea kind of like meshes the two, but they're totally different, right? So when you have a manufactured home or a modular home, right,
Yeah.
that's entirely different than a mobile home. Are you seeing that people are putting modular homes onto, sites that were traditionally for mobile homes? Is that something that does happen? Because I know that a modular home would retain its value more than a mobile
Yeah,
home.
it does. We don't really see that where we are. We're more in the we just call like the working class. People that work a 9 to 5. Roofers and plumbers and people come here, so they really just need the affordability. So I feel like the modular home kind of takes away from what they really want. You know,
Yeah.
so where we are, we don't see that. But
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Super basic question again, because I'm not inside the space right now. But in Alabama, of course, you're going to have ranges. But what might be the predicted range for lot rent for a mobile home?
I mean, if it's like a mom and pop where they typically haven't raised the rent in years. I mean, some of those you could find those as cheap as $100 a month. Yeah, that's and then on the high end, probably 500. If you're in a major city, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Huntsville, it could be up to 500, which is still extremely affordable. I mean, where can you live for $500 a month and have a yard?
That's a great point. Uh, the Again, this is of course, there's going to be a huge range here. But when folks are buying a new mobile home, I'm thinking, because these are mobile homes, these are like basically like car notes. Their monthly payment, it has got to be, you know pretty substantial. And in most cases, do you see that being the case, or because you're focused on the rents, is that somewhat foreign to investors?
We generally, I mean, we sell new homes. Sometimes we bring new homes in. We haven't done it in a little while, so I can't give you exact data. But back a few years ago, we were selling homes for and these were brand new, Clayton and Fleetwood, and they were selling for like $45,000. And basically, we were just selling them at cost because
Yeah.
we get an occupied lot. We have a resident for life, you could say. So we really didn't focus on making money on homes. We just wanted to build a community of homeowners, that are going to take care of the property like it's theirs. That was our focus. That still is. But
Now, one of the things, as you mentioned, this idea of selling at cost, right? People would say, well, why would someone do that? These are sticky tenants, right? These are people who are going to stay for a long time.
yeah, well, yeah, the latest data I think is 15 years. Your average, I mean, your average home moves one time. From the dealership to the lot that it goes on. In general, they don't move once they're set. That person will sell the home and somebody else will buy it. And so we just want to be in the land business, renting land. So when somebody wants to sell their home, we generally don't get involved. We might help them market it, but we don't want the homes.
Now, unrelated to this, and I know this is a little bit out of left field here, but for folks who are looking at mobile homes and not necessarily living in a place where um, they're in a park, but where they own the land, does this have to be zoned differently than like for residential single family, or can you put a mobile home, in a residential neighborhood?
Uh I guess it varies per municipality. It's really frowned upon now, but as far as a mobile home park, it has to be zoned a mobile home park, or you can't. That's one of the main reasons why they're just not being developed is because zoning. They would much rather have some type of manufacturing facility, apartments, commercial or something that brings in all this tax revenue. The city doesn't want a mobile home park.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I want to pivot a bit here and ask you about the acquisition side of this, because there's a lot of people. I know our listeners want to know, what's the fastest way, without shaving any corners to acquire a mobile home park. A lot of people are interested in seller financing. Is that a reasonable way to acquire, your first deal, or really because these are folks who've been, owners for decades potentially that they're really looking to cash out and would not be considering seller financing? What's your perspective on seller financing here?
It's really about trust and a bond. That owner that's going to finance it, they need to believe in you. You're not going to be able to just call somebody, hey, can I buy your property and you finance it to me? It really doesn't work that way. You have to build a list of the communities that you would want to acquire and arrange, and then you have to reach out to all those people and kind of build a relationship with them. It can be done because the first two properties I bought were owner finance. And actually the last property that I just bought that I'm in right now was the same. It was owner finance. So it's a great tool to get in. I mean, and the first two properties I bought that were owner finance, they did like zero background checks on me. They didn't run my credit. They didn't do any of that. It was just, we went to my neighbor who lived across the street. And he was a lawyer. So he wrote up all the documents I needed to finance this property. So it's really, if you can build that relationship with mom and pop, you can kind of hash out the terms that you want to agree on. So yeah, it's a great tool to get into the space.
Now, specifically for folks who may not have experience in managing these deals, what comes up? I'm thinking, my 1,000-foot view looking in, like septic would be the biggest issue because it can cost, an arm and a leg to fix septic, and then there tends to be problems, especially with aging. I can't imagine that there's too many evictions that happen because the cost of where it's at, and these people probably don't want to have to deal with that. But what are the main issues that come up in ownership of a mobile home park?
Well, it's a very people-driven, hands-on type business where people want to know who you are. As opposed to an apartment complex. They don't know who the owner is, and they don't even care. There's maybe a leasing agent in the office, but they don't need to know who the owner is. It's a mobile home park. It's like, it's more of a community, and people want to know who is who. So it's kind of the same where you need to be trusted and professional, and you have to kind of remove yourself emotionally though, because when the first day that all these people are your friends, and they need all these favors, so you have to kind of remove that portion of yourself, your feelings in your heart. It's business. You have to do what's necessary. But yeah, on the septic, it's that could be one of the biggest issues is water and sewer. If there's a well and there's one well and that well goes bad, you're kind of screwed, or if it's poison people, but yeah, there's a lot of things that you need to watch out for. So I would say before those people want to buy a community, then you need to get some form of basic education, on that type of stuff.
When we talk specifically about septic, I have experience on my own level, having lived on a ranch and seen how septic can be finicky, right? And when that breaks, it's not a pleasant thing, right? So I can imagine, especially if you're buying an aging mobile home park community and you're thinking, oh well, there's no issues right now. Well, if the septic breaks, that's $40,000 or however much you have to spend now to fix that, and now you have frustrated tenants, right? So when you're coming into one of these deals, of course that can be a huge thing that people need to be wary of. We are coming up on time here, though, John. Any new projects that you're working on, that you'd like to get out to our audience as well? What's the best way for folks who are listening to reach out to you or your team?
You could email me, jevans@sixrockprop.com. We've got several things we're working on right now. I'm actually, as I mentioned, on site today. We've got a lot of homes coming in, septic issues like you talked about, and just constantly improving the property. But and so we're just growing. It's just constantly kind of reaching out to owners to acquire the community and just continue to grow.
John, thank you so much for taking the time today. Thank you for coming on the show and teaching us a little bit about the mobile home park space.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.